didn't fight. You didn't scream. You just walked away. And somehow, that was enough to make everything fall apart.
In certain relationships, your simple decision to withdraw is enough to provoke a deep crisis in the other. There was no betrayal, there were no screams, you simply chose to step back. But suddenly you're flooded with accusations, panic, and anger, as if your silence had pulled out a vital part of their soul. It feels overwhelming, unfair even, yet the truth behind this explosive reaction goes deeper than mere emotions. It reveals hidden roles, projections, and emotional dependencies we rarely acknowledge. Stay tuned, because today we're diving deep into the psychology behind why walking away doesn't just show you who someone really is. It might also be the most powerful step toward finding out who you truly are. Here's the truth. When you step back, it's like turning the lights on in a dark room. Suddenly, hidden parts of someone's character surge forward. Panic, anger, blame. And you're left stunned, asking yourself how something as simple as choosing silence could trigger such chaos. Carl Jung sheds light on this by reminding us that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. When your absence becomes louder than your presence, you've unintentionally exposed their inner emptiness, the fragile illusions built upon your shoulders. People often cling not to individuals but to what they represent: stability, validation, or safety. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once observed, "Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things." Ironically, your withdrawal doesn't diminish your worth, it amplifies it, revealing how deeply dependent they've become on your emotional support. Your presence wasn't simply desired, it was desperately required. But here's a crucial point. True relationships are built on mutual recognition, not emotional necessity. Friedrich Nietzsche cautioned that whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he does not become a monster. Your role shouldn't be to permanently hold someone else's emotional pieces together, risking your own integrity in the process. Choosing distance isn't an act of cruelty, it's a courageous move toward authenticity. It forces both parties into honesty, painful yet liberating. Ultimately, stepping back might just be your strongest step forward, revealing not only their hidden truths, but your own capacity for strength and independence. Carl Jung explained it perfectly. We often don't see people as they truly are. We see them as roles, a caretaker, a protector, a savior. At first, it feels meaningful to be that support, but slowly that weight starts to crush you. A simple request for space turns into emotional chaos. Suddenly you're not just a companion, you're their lifeline, their emotional scaffolding. And when you step back, their carefully constructed illusion crumbles, exposing fragility that was never yours to fix. But here's the truth. You deserve to be seen for who you are, not just for what you provide. Staying in that role doesn't make you kind, it makes you invisible. You lose pieces of yourself trying to keep someone else whole. Real love doesn't require self-erasure. It grows from mutual strength, not shared weakness. Choosing yourself isn't cruelty, it's courage. It's the quiet, radical act of stepping into your truth and allowing the other person to face theirs. Sometimes the greatest kindness is letting someone stand alone, even if they shake, because you're more than someone's emotional crutch. You're a whole person, and you deserve love that doesn't demand your silence to feel safe. Attachment isn't just about love, it's often about survival. Psychologists John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth explored this deeply, revealing how anxious attachment turns people's relationships into desperate lifelines. Your consistent presence reassures them, becoming the anchor that keeps their anxiety at bay. You're not simply a partner, you've become their entire safety net. But when you need some breathing room, their world spirals into chaos. Your brief distance feels catastrophic, triggering panic and insecurity. Suddenly, your desire for space isn't seen as natural, it's viewed as betrayal. They react not from affection but from fear, the fear of drowning without their emotional regulator, without you. And here's the tricky part. Their panic can make you feel guilty, as though your basic need for autonomy is somehow selfish or hurtful. But stepping back isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It highlights the unhealthy dependence hiding beneath the surface. True relationships encourage independence. They don't crumble when one partner takes a moment to breathe. Recognizing these patterns matters deeply. It's the difference between healthy love and suffocating dependency. While compassion is essential, sacrificing your own emotional health to keep someone afloat is never the answer. Remember, you're not responsible for their internal stability. You're meant to be a partner, not a lifeboat. And realizing this could be your most powerful step toward emotional freedom, like pulling off a bandage, sharp, sudden, but necessary to let the real healing begin. Transforming panic into growth and creating space for authentic, balanced connection. Here's the thing no one really talks about. Real love is about freedom. It honors your individuality, celebrates your space, and thrives on mutual independence. Dependency, though, it suffocates. It demands constant reassurance, relentless presence, endless validation. That guilty feeling creeping in when you ask for space? It isn't yours. It's theirs, spilling into your emotional world because they've mistaken dependency for connection. We've all felt it, haven't we? That uncomfortable realization that someone didn't value us for who we truly were, but for how effectively we kept their insecurities at bay. Your presence wasn't just enjoyed, it was desperately needed, the emotional glue binding their fragile self together. Your absence doesn't hurt them because they love you deeply, it hurts because it reveals their inner chaos. But here's the empowering truth. Stepping away isn't abandonment, it's reclaiming your authentic self. It forces both parties to face reality, to acknowledge the fine line between genuine love and emotional dependence. Love enriches without erasing your boundaries. Love empowers rather than ensnares. The guilt that creeps in isn't proof you've done something wrong. It's proof you've finally chosen yourself. That's strength, courage, and growth. Remember, authentic relationships breathe freely. They don't hold tightly. Choosing independence over dependency is not only your right, it's essential for discovering relationships built on genuine respect and true emotional freedom. Spotting emotional dependency early isn't just about intuition, it's about paying close attention to small signals. When you set clear boundaries, watch closely how people respond. Healthy relationships breathe freely, comfortably respecting moments of space. But if asking for a bit of distance consistently sparks guilt trips or subtle manipulations, consider it your flashing red alert. These reactions aren't about genuine care, they're about control disguised as affection. The key to handling this lies in your own approach. Clearly and calmly express your needs, making it clear you're protecting your emotional health, not rejecting the other person. Simply saying something like, "I need some space to recharge, it's nothing personal," can speak volumes. Notice carefully how they respond. Acceptance and understanding point toward emotional maturity, but resentment or pushback reveal hidden insecurity. Remember, recognizing these signs isn't about passing judgment. It's about ensuring the relationship remains authentic and balanced. Early detection of these subtle emotional shifts helps you avoid entanglements that slowly drain your energy. You deserve connections built on mutual respect, not relationships constantly testing your boundaries. Being clear and consistent in communicating your needs doesn't just protect your emotional health, it also encourages healthier behavior in others. Ultimately, knowing when and how to assert your boundaries is your strongest tool for preserving genuine relationships and reclaiming your peace of mind. Sometimes the bravest act of compassion isn't staying, it's stepping back. Your withdrawal isn't rejection, it's clarity. It challenges the other person to confront their own emotional world without leaning on you to hold it up. Like taking off training wheels, it may shake them, but it's how balance begins. Real care doesn't cling, it empowers. By stepping away, you strip away illusion and create space for truth to grow. It might hurt at first, but discomfort is often the doorway to real transformation. Walking away isn't abandonment, it's an invitation to self-awareness, to growth, and to emotional freedom. Here's a tough truth most people avoid. Sometimes you're not loved for who you genuinely are, but for the role you fulfill in someone else's emotional narrative. Carl Jung pointed out how easily we project our unmet needs onto others, transforming them into mirrors reflecting our desires, insecurities, and fears. You unknowingly became their mirror, reflecting stability, reassurance, and worth. But mirrors don't create realities, they only reflect them. When you finally step back and remove your reflection, you inadvertently expose their internal emptiness, the gaps they desperately tried to fill with your presence. Recognizing this can be deeply unsettling, even painful. But acknowledging it is also incredibly freeing. It releases you from the unfair burden of someone else's emotional maintenance, a responsibility that was never yours to carry. This realization isn't about blame, but clarity. It challenges you to embrace authenticity over comfort, reality over illusion. By letting go of the guilt associated with stepping away, you reclaim emotional autonomy and allow them to confront their own truths. And though the initial pain may sting sharply, this confrontation is ultimately healing, sparking genuine growth and paving the way for relationships grounded in mutual respect rather than dependency. Embrace this truth, even if it hurts, because within it lies your path to true emotional freedom. Stepping away can feel liberating, but brace yourself, because sometimes freedom brings out someone else's shadows. Anger flares up, accusations fly, and manipulation sneaks in quietly. Suddenly the guilt feels overwhelming, making you question if leaving was selfish. But pause for a moment and remember this. Their reaction isn't really about you. It's about the illusion you shattered, the control they lost when you took back your power. Your boundaries aren't acts of cruelty, they're necessary lines drawn in self-care. Standing firm doesn't mean shutting down compassion, it means protecting your emotional health from toxic patterns that drain you dry. When the guilt trips begin, remain steady, grounded in your truth. Respond calmly but firmly, making it clear that your decision is about personal growth, not punishment. In these moments, clarity becomes your greatest strength. Recognize manipulation as the desperate attempt it is, an effort to pull you back into familiar chaos. Resist the temptation to rescue, to fix, to absorb their emotional turmoil. This isn't about abandonment, it's about giving both of you space to heal and grow independently. Ultimately, holding your ground empowers you and sets a powerful example. It teaches others that real love and respect mean honoring boundaries, not breaking them. Protect your emotional freedom fiercely, because true connection can only flourish where mutual respect and authenticity thrive. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's brave. It takes real courage to step away from being someone else's emotional lifeline and reclaim your freedom. Carl Jung understood this deeply when he talked about individuation. Becoming fully yourself means breaking free from the roles and expectations others place upon you. Your life isn't meant to be an emotional crutch for those who refuse to stand on their own. Embracing your independence is an empowering act, even though it might feel uncomfortable or provoke guilt at first. But discomfort isn't a signal you're wrong. It's evidence you're finally challenging unhealthy patterns. You're meant for relationships that lift you up, not chains that pull you down. It's essential to recognize your worth beyond what you provide to others. You're valuable simply because you exist, not because you prop up someone else's fragile sense of self. Hold on to this clarity fiercely. Your freedom is your right, not a luxury you must earn through sacrifice or silence. So next time doubt creeps in, whisper to yourself, "My freedom is my right," because true strength lies in your willingness to choose yourself, to break the cycle, and to walk confidently toward emotional authenticity. When you prioritize your own growth, you open doors to relationships built on mutual respect, genuine connection, and lasting fulfillment. Walking away isn't about turning your back, it's about shining a light on truth. By choosing distance, you're handing the other person a powerful gift, the chance to face themselves authentically, shadows and all. You're offering them space to confront what they've avoided, to finally see the parts they've hidden, even from themselves. It's uncomfortable, even painful, but necessary for growth. And as for you, your decision brings clarity and strength. You've reclaimed a part of yourself that might have gotten lost in someone else's emotional needs. This isn't rejection, it's liberation. It's about finally choosing honesty and self-respect over comfort and illusion. Often we confuse staying with caring, but true compassion means giving someone space to heal and grow, even when that growth happens away from you. Your step back isn't abandonment, it's empowerment. It's you declaring clearly, "I deserve authenticity, not dependency." Ultimately, walking away invites both sides toward deeper self-awareness. It's the spark that ignites genuine transformation, creating the foundation for healthier relationships built on honesty rather than fear or control. Remember, real growth begins the moment you choose to honor your truth, and that might just be the most valuable gift you ever give. It's time to embrace the courage to let go, to finally set down the heavy burden of being someone else's emotional caretaker. Choosing freedom isn't easy. It requires bravery and honesty. But when you choose yourself, you step into a powerful new reality, where authenticity replaces dependency and self-respect overshadows guilt. Type in the comments below, "I choose freedom," and let that statement anchor your newfound clarity. Your path toward emotional freedom and true self-awareness is just beginning. And there's so much more ahead. Now click on the suggested video on your screen, because embracing who you truly are is the greatest act of courage you'll ever take. Thanks for being part of Mosaic Mind.